These new Oakley M frames have everything. Clear safety SAM glasses, frames that don't even understand what this thing does, lenses that make you feel like you're going to break them whenever you take them out. I don't even know if I'm supposed to still wear this. Blue blockers, just like old people. I just got out of an eye exam. And, of course, douchebag snowboarder. They even have a pair of mismatched socks. Hey guys, welcome to Gear Tasting. Today I wanted to share a couple of new products with you today. When we were at Range Day at SHOT Show 2016, which we just got back from last week, we were given, or pretty much every media person that walked through the door for Media Day at the Range, the official SHOT Show Day at the Range, we were given a pair of Peltor Sports. These are some new ear pro that Peltor was promoting this year. They gave me actually a 3-pack in all the different flavors here. And I really like these. This is, you know, I'm not just saying that because we were given these for free at the range. Honestly, I wasn't expecting a lot out of these whenever we were given them. But what really makes them unique is the low profile that they have on the side. So they're designed to be worn with ear pro, and we wore these the entire range day, and they're very comfortable. So usually I wear either Gator sunglasses or Oakley M frames, which I have this huge case, which you've seen earlier on the intro. But I don't care for M frames very much. They're hard to change out lenses on, amongst just, in my opinion, not really being designed, again, for to be worn with ear pro. Especially when you're wearing electronic ear pro. The gel cups that I have on these Sordens, these are gel inserts, which are very comfortable to wear for the whole day. But when you pair these with ear pro that's, eye pro, sometimes they can have issues. So let me make sure these are on so I can still hear. But so when you put them on, you can see they kind of have a natural flare or a rounding to them. What that's for is that when you apply ear pro to them, they almost kind of stretch out like this. So it actually helps with the anti-fog principle that these claim to have. I didn't experience any fogging, but you know, they have anti-fog written right there, and you know, of course, the Z87, which I believe is the actual rating for, you know, anti-frag or whatever you call that. I don't know if they say it on the back here. Yeah, I thought they went into exactly what that was. Oh, that's the ANSI spec. That's right. So ANSI 787.1 from 2010. So that's the spec that you're supposed to be able to see on every lens that, you know, makes it safe eyewear for the range. So again, what I really like is that, you know, as you compress the sides when you put on ear pro, so it actually pushes that out, you know, and you can barely even tell you have ear pro on. They're really lightweight, which I like a lot as well. They're kind of vented on the side, and then they have this yellow that you see here on the earpiece is actually gel. So that actually kind of helps them stick to your face as well with sweat. They don't have any type of you know, holes in the ear pieces there to, you know, to put any kind of lanyard or anything on. But the lanyard that I use all the time, which I don't have in front of me here, you know, it can fit on this type of thing too. So it's just kind of a plastic sleeve that fits over. The nose piece is good. I think that they're kind of removable and replaceable. Let's see if I can pull this off here. So it's basically just a post that you kind of push this ear or this nose piece onto. So you could replace that if they do sell replacements. Like I said, these are pretty brand new, so I don't really know much about them other than they were given to us at Range Day. So again, these are called Peltor Sport Secure Fit, and they say that the impact-resistant lenses absorb up to 99% of UV. So jury's kind of still out on that. Obviously, I don't really have a way to test that, but you know, all these do have the ANSI 787 or Z87 spec on them. So they all claim to be anti-fog. And as I mentioned, I only wore the clears out there. I didn't go for the blue blockers out there at the range. But so that's them. They are made overseas, if that's a big deal to you on your eyewear. So that's that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, I've recently been transitioning from, or recently transitioned to a Glock 43. As I've talked about in previous gear tastings, I've been, getting used to the size difference between the 19. It's night and day. I love it. I can't say enough good things about the 43. Other than the round capacity, and that's just something you're going to have to deal with. I used to carry a SIG 225 though, and that was a single stack mag as well, just like the 43. So I'm kind of used to, needing to have a spare mag either in a bag or readily accessible, that type of deal. Whereas the Glock 19 was it 16 rounds, 18 rounds? 15 in the mag. 15 in the mag, yeah. So. So anyway, the 43 is 6 plus 1. You can put 1 in the chamber and 6 in the mag. There is a floor plate that someone handed me at SHOT Show this year that gives you an extra round in the magazine. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that works. But at any rate, I used to have this Blade Tech holster that this was just something I picked up on Amazon for the 43 because there really wasn't a lot around at the time when I got the 43. But now I used to carry an INCOG from G-Code and Haley Strategic for my 19, and I didn't really daily carry that because it added a lot of bulk. But I found that the version I have, which is this for the 43, does not have those issues. So first let me make that safe. So what this does have is an extra extension on it, and I purchased I got the version that has the extension so you can add the magazine caddy onto it. I don't have it attached right now because it's not how I run it. I personally feel it's a little bulky with the mag caddy on, especially right here. I removed one of the clips, and technically you can remove the mag caddy and you're supposed to add the second clip back right here. But I don't like running the second clip because what happens is that it puts it into a very vertical orientation when you're carrying an appendix. And I actually like the slant that happens, when I'm wearing this appendix. So what happens is it'll actually kind of kick over like that, and I like that. I like the slant because I feel like it actually conceals the gun a lot more. So this is what the orientation is that will wind up happening when I'm wearing it versus the straight up and down. And I've gotten accustomed to wearing my belt like this too, so I'll kick my buckle off to the side because when the buckle's here along with the holster, it really kind of adds bulk to where you can kind of tell a little more when we're printing. But thanks to the new Texas law with open carry, I don't have to worry about that as much anymore, but it's still kind of a personal thing for me. I don't like printing when I don't have to. So again, it's the INCOG from Haley Strategic and G-Code. I do have something on the way though, and this kind of runs into our questions over coffee, and I'll talk about that too. But so with this mag caddy, let me unscrew this part real quick here and get one of their clips off of here. So that clip, again, this is the piece that would go onto the holster here and use the dual clip system, and I removed that. And I'm actually considering just taking a Dremel tool and hacking that part off because it does kind of get in the way when I'm carrying. So at any rate, what G-Code makes as an accessory for this mag caddy is you remove this piece, which is the piece that interfaces with the INCOG, and there's basically a belt clip that goes on instead, and now the belt clip kind of fits on this side or whichever side you want it to. It's got holes on both sides, but you can now run this in the waistband as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing, is just probably running this back here or something like that as I'm carrying and I need an extra mag. I carry with rounds forward too, so I can pick it up and index it into the gun like that. That's just kind of how I've always carried mags. There's no wrong way, that's just the way I do it. So again, I really like this. It's got the G-Code tactical fuzz on the holster. I feel like it helps with when you're sweating and things like that. It helps kind of give you a better feel with the holster rather than straight Kydex, which is what this blade tech is. And the profile is just a lot better, I feel, on the INCOG. One of the problems I had, which I'll show you on the blade tech, is actually getting it out, and it's really difficult to get it out of the holster. So I always worried that the belt clip wasn't going to catch enough, and that pull was really going to be a problem if I ever had to draw. So with the INCOG, I feel like it's a more positive click, and it's really nice and easy to get out of the holster. So that's one of the reasons I like the INCOG as well. Okay, questions over coffee. The first one, which kind of goes right along with the INCOG I was talking about, is from Ian H, who asks, Avoca coffee, by the way, today. Ian H, who asks, I just wanted to ask if you could do EDC or concealed carry mag holders on one of your gear tasting videos. I see a lot of people, beside myself, struggle with finding a correct and fairly comfortable way of carrying a spare mag or two. Just tossing them into a cargo or back pocket is comfortable, but difficult to impossible to perform a reload under stress due to the inconsistent positioning of the mag. I agree with that. Front pocket holders seem like a great idea, but I can't bring myself to live with just one front pocket. Well, I carry too much junk in my pockets anyway to ever deal with having one of those caddies that fits in your front pocket. I don't like them. I've never used them. I haven't even purchased one. I hope you guys have seen my box of holsters on the previous gear tasting videos. I go through a lot of holsters. I'm always experimenting with different things, but magazine holders is one thing I've really never done much with. I've either always relied on the fact of having a 15+ round mag in the gun, or just having a spare magazine nearby and not necessarily on my person. So as I was mentioning with the mag caddy from the INCOG and from G-Code, I'm looking forward to running this with that belt clip so I can run it in the waistband. Because of really the low profile of this, while the mag caddy itself is a little flared and bulky around the sides, this would be removed obviously, but I do like the size of the 43 mags themselves. Even with the extra piece there for the pinky on the grip, they're still pretty low profile. So I feel like this is something that I could tuck into my body really well versus like a big Glock 19 mag. I never really felt comfortable IWB-ing one of those. So again, looking forward to that. The other part of the question was, tossing one in a cargo pocket. You're never going to be able to index properly if this mag gets flipped around and you're fumbling around for the correct orientation to get it into the gun under a stress reload, and I completely understand that. So I don't know. I really don't know what to recommend other than that. When I've been at the range before, I've usually used pouches and things like that are usually on my belt, so it's not an inside the waistband concealed option. And I've kind of gotten away from that when I go to the range. I've really tried to not run anything that I'm not going to run in the same place concealed. So even when I'm running chest rigs and things like that, I still run a appendix carry rig, and I can still clear that. And I've made sure of that with where my chest rigs sit. So I don't have as long of a torso as some people, so it can be a little difficult sometimes. But I still always want that muscle memory to be in the same place each time that I draw. So wherever I do wind up putting this, I'm going to make sure that it's always with me, wherever I'm carrying at the range too. So hopefully that kind of fields your question. So the next question is from Bryce on Facebook, who says, oh, hey, obviously a little kickback, Bryce, very funny from our last video. Sorry I had to get out of the way. I'm going on a trip this summer to Alaska, taking a 2-day pistol carbine course while I'm up there. I've always wanted to go to Alaska, have an awesome trip. That's it, yeah, okay. So, I was advised that I may need some rain gear. Any recommendations? I have some frog togs, but I know those will wear during the class. I would like to stay under $100 if at all possible. I have Frog Togs too, and I like to take those backpacking. If you're not familiar with Frog Togs, I didn't bring mine in today, but basically they're very lightweight, kind of easily rippable, cheap. It's a cheap rain suit basically is what it is. So you're not going to get much use out of it, especially if you're running through the woods and actually being active in the rainwear. If you're hitting the ground during a course and coming down to a knee, you're going to bust right through that fabric. It's really not. It's not meant for anything other than, in my opinion, kind of an emergency wet weather gear. You want to step up to something that's got sealed seams and things like that. So to field your question, to stay under $100, this is an old PCU jacket from the PCU system. This is the level 6 top. You can probably pick up a top for less than $100 on eBay. So what I mean by sealed seams, you can kind of see it pretty good on this jacket. Excuse me. But everywhere there's a seam in manufacturing, they actually put a piece of tape here. So this is all Gore-Tex material, but then everywhere a stitch line or a seam happens, they put tape to further seal that. So, in continuous downpour, it's not going to bleed through, so to speak. So I've really liked this. I've had these for a while. There's pants that go along with this too if you wanted to pick them up. But honestly, in a class, you're probably not going to need much more than a top. Because you'll probably be static. If not, you might be moving a little, but I've always been of the opinion that I can deal with a little rain on my pants, but the top really, once your core gets wet, that's when you start getting chilly, so I like to protect my core as much as possible. And then obviously boots too, you want to keep in mind, what kind of footwear you're wearing, whether it's Gore-Tex or something like that. You might want some gaiters or some of the, I actually have those right here, I think. Some of the socks. So these are those Arc'teryx socks, and not to pitch expensive Arc'teryx stuff on the question where you're trying to save money, but these Maddox dry socks work pretty well for that too. But, obviously, if your pants get wet and it's a really big downpour, you definitely might want to look into some pants for those too. So just look up PCU level 6 on eBay. You can probably find a good deal on that stuff as well. Okay, so our last question, questions over coffee, comes from Ben on Twitter, who says, what's your opinion on the quality of GORUCK packs versus Mystery Ranch packs? Excuse me. I feel like that's a fairly loaded question because, every manufacturer is different when it comes to backpacks. But to compare and contrast these is a little bit of a challenge, and I'm up for it. So let's talk about them. So first of all, both Mystery Ranch and GORUCK are made in the US, so they've both got that going for them. I feel like Mystery Ranch uses lighter weight fabrics on occasion, and GORUCK tends to stick with 1000D Cordura, whereas like this pack from Mystery Ranch is probably a 500D Cordura, so half the weight of 1000D. So as you step down in weight with Cordura fabric, technically the less abrasion resistant a fabric becomes. So that's why GORUCK opts for the 1000D, because they put their packs through hell and back in their challenges and things like that. So they like to stick with 1000D. They both have internal frame sheets. So what I try to do is compare similar sized packs as well. So this is a pack that Mystery Ranch only made for the military. It's the M2-5 or M25 pack. It's a smaller cut down version of their huge pack that I've shown before, their Big Grizzly. But it has a lot of the features that I like about Mystery Ranch packs, so that's why I kind of wanted to highlight it. Because I do feel that it still speaks to their quality and reputation and design characteristics for their packs. Okay, so I don't really know the exact cubic inches of each of these packs. This is the GR1 from GORUCK. So this is kind of built around a traditional 3-day pack, as you might kind of tell already. So it's got kind of the side slash pocket in the front. This is a larger pocket that goes all the way down to the bottom. Then you've got a main interior pocket that kind of clamshells open. And on the inside, you've got this kind of, I call it a hydration pocket, but you can use this for other things, obviously. but it does come up to the top through this. It's got some Velcro up at the top for the hydration reservoir through the top lid. It's also got a carry handle up at the top that's padded. You've got some interior MOLLE that I've never used, and I'm not really sure what that's for, but it's got it. And then what I really like about this is the individual organizational pockets on the front lid. I use these all the time when I'm traveling. This is kind of my go-to travel pack on the GR1. I need to get it a little less tactical, honestly. I would love to get one of their, I believe they're called shadow packs if I remember correctly, but they don't have all the MOLLE on the front and the sides, which these have. But I do have this little admin pouch attached to the front that I don't find myself using as much as I thought I would. I really need to take it off, but to me it kind of hides some of the MOLLE, so I leave it on. But the front top lid pocket is there too for, you know, accessories. And as I mentioned, both these packs do have a frame sheet. In the back here, I use this for my laptop. This is, not sure if they really refer to this as a laptop pocket, but I feel like they do. And then in here, turn this around, this is where the frame sheet lives. So this is like an HDPE plastic sheeting for the frame sheet. So it is an internal frame pack, but not in the essence that some are. So I would classify this more as kind of a commuter pack or just a standard 3-day pack. The shoulder straps, I do like. They're well padded, more padded than most 3-day packs are. Just the density, not necessarily just the padding, but the density of the foam is pretty superior to some 3-day packs. The back, I find, does get hot though as I'm carrying it, even with the channels that are kind of sewn in here on the padding. So that's kind of the GORUCK pack. On the Mystery Ranch, I would dub this more of an outdoor type pack, just because of some of the features like the bottle pockets on each side. So that's a good size for a Nalgene on each side of the pack. The frame is actually more of a suspension frame, if you can see kind of the profile on that versus just the standard backpack straps of the GORUCK GR1. So this is kind of a yoke system is what Mystery Ranch calls this. It's an adjustable system. So if I kick these load lifter straps off and open this back Velcro, this piece here, it's got an internal frame sheet like this, and you can see that it's contoured to fit your back. It's also got some mesh here, so I do feel like this is more of an outdoor adventure style pack because it does keep your back a lot cooler than something like this that's all flat against your back. It's contoured. So what you do to adjust the yoke is you jam this thing all the way down here, you break the Velcro, and now where you see this split right here, you can now adjust these shoulder straps up and down. So you can change the height of the yoke based on your shoulder profile, your height. I'm not going to really do that on video because I don't want to screw it up and have to reset that myself again. But again, it does have load lifting straps on it, which is good, and that helps get the load off of your shoulders and more onto, you know, your lumbar where the pack is supposed to support at. So there's a fairly large lumbar pad here on the Mystery Ranch, and I love the low profile hip belt. That's something I really dig on this style of Mystery Ranch pack, which is why I bought this. I picked this up on eBay. I paid way too much for it, but honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the best packs that Mystery Ranch makes. I like it way more than the 3-day packs and the other things that they make. I wish to hell they would make this pack in different colors and bring it back and not just make it a military pack. Because it does share some of the similar features on their larger packs. So it's got this big day pack lid, which I really like. It's kind of cavernous in itself. You know, you've got probably quite a few cubic inches inside here, so it's a pretty large, substantial pad. But I like the cavernous kind of packing nature. So similar to an Alice pack, you've got a large packable area down here that comes all the way to the bottom of the pack. But then it's still got a radio pouch in the back, which you can hopefully kind of see. Got some elastic back here, which is where it lives. This is a strap that attaches here. Wait, no, that's not right. Attaches here to secure the radio pocket, just like that. And then this strap comes up to the top to kind of help pull up the front of the pack. So it's kind of a load lifter almost for the front of the pack, if that makes sense. So, and then it's got another piece of the frame right here. So this is a frame stay that runs that spans the length of the pack. So it's even more I guess, support for the frame. Then once you come to the outside of the pack, you've got these two large pockets on the front, which is what Mystery Ranch is kind of known for in style. So on many of their larger packs, they've got these two large pockets, one on each side. I really like this storage because you can get to these pockets even when the top lid is closed down and all secure. You can still come in and get to those side pockets, which I really like. Then it's got some straps on the bottom just for, you know, tying up sleeping bags and things that are on the bottom. And then I really like the way that the side compression strap is done on these packs too, which is why I also really like these. So it's kind of I guess a Z almost. So they secure on each side. So again, one of my favorite packs from Mystery Ranch. I love the size. It's nice and compact. It's small. So Mystery Ranch, if you're watching, please bring this back in other colorways. For us lowly civilians out there, this is a great pack. So anyway, hopefully that kind of gives you a rundown between the Mystery Ranch and the GORUCK packs. Obviously, Mystery Ranch makes a lot of different size packs. They're more geared towards the outdoor hiking, climbing, hunting markets. Probably plenty of markets I'm neglecting to mention too. GORUCK is fairly focused on, I would say, I don't really want to call it the adventure race market, but more the military / military adventure race type market. So again, they advocate, you know, the ability to put a ton of bricks in the pack, and I did that when I went through a GORUCK challenge too. So both are definitely bomb-proof designs. Both are made in the U.S. You really won't go wrong with either pack, in my opinion. But just depends on where you're going. Hey guys, thanks for watching Gear Tasting. Remember to get your questions answered on Gear Tasting. Use the # Gear Tasting on any social media network, and we will get them answered. One thing I'd like to mention is that if you're a big fan of Gear Tasting, you'd like to help support what we do here, consider signing up for a crew leader membership on itstactical.com. We will put the link in the description below. Thanks again for your support, and thanks for watching.